I told him in mock combat about the thing we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We wanted to do. I'll have to tell you about that later.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's all ages, so we can't do that. It's a funny gag. Sorry.
You should have been here earlier.
Should have been here earlier for it, yeah. No, so I don't know how much time we have, but Josh wanted me to tell this story.
About 10 minutes.
We got what?
About 10 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Okay. This is not my story. Again, a friend of mine who worked in London.
About 40 minutes then, sorry, my bad.
How much?
40.
40.
Oh,
Jeez,
good Lord.
please. It won't take that long, trust me. I'm sure. I can't even stretch this.
These are pretty much, these stories are the cream of the crop right here.
Okay, I have some friends who worked in London for a long time. And it was well known that Sir Ralph Richardson was he was a contemporary of John Gielgud and Laurence Olivier, was incredibly clumsy. He, what's her name? She was in Gone with the Wind. Vivian Leigh.
Yeah.
When Vivian Leigh and Olivier got married, they bought this huge country estate in England, and they were going to have a party. And she said, "Please don't invite Ralph. Please do not invite Ralph. He will break something." I said, "No. He's another lord. He's one of my best friends. I should invite him." So they invited Sir Ralph, and Sir Ralph was on his best behavior, and he didn't break anything. So Olivier said, "Look, there are these weird carvings up in the attic on some of the support beams. I'd love for you to come up and see them." So he takes him up to the attic, and Richardson. This isn't even the best of the two stories. I tell you this one, I'll tell you the better one. Richardson leans over to see it and loses his balance and goes backwards through the ceiling.
Wait.
Through the canopy of the bed in the master bedroom, through the floor of the bedroom, into the main entrance.
Laughing the entire
time. To which he is met on the ground floor by Vivian Leigh, who is looking very angry, and who looks up through the hole in her bedroom floor to their attic, and there is Sir Laurence Olivier going. But Ralph Richardson and Sir John Gielgud did a Harold Pinter play called, I believe it was No Man's Land, in New York. And there was a lady, a very wealthy lady who lived outside of the city in New York, who really wanted to meet Ralph Richardson. She just loved him and loved all of his work, and she kept sending him these notes, inviting him to spend Monday, because that's union night off. You have to come after the show on Sunday night, and we'll spend some time together Monday night. I would love to ask you some questions. And finally, she just kept on and on and on, and he said, "Okay, I'll go." So he wrote back and said, "Yes, I will go." So he shows up very late after the show. The long cab ride there. Butler meets him at the door. Says, "Would you like something to eat?" He says, "No, thank you. I'm very tired. I'm just going to go to bed." So he goes to bed. In the middle of the night, he wakes up and has to go to the bathroom. He can't find the light switch, so he's finds the bathroom, can't find the light, finds the toilet, goes to the bathroom, makes his way back, goes to bed. He wakes up the next morning, because he was a very early riser, to find that when he was trying to find his way around the room, on the desk he had knocked over an inkwell. And it put handprints all over the walls of the bathroom, on both sides of the toilet. He had covered her bedroom in ink. So he called a cab and left. So he gets a letter in the middle of the week from this lady saying, Sir Richardson, I understand, this happened. It was obviously a mistake. Do not worry about it. It's fine. Please come back out. So he says, very, very sorry. Yes, I will be more than happy to come out. I'm so sorry about putting ink all over your home. So Sunday, does matinee, does the evening show. Gets back in a cab. Takes the cab out to this lady's house. Again, met at the door by the butler. Who says, "Would you like something?" He says, "Yeah, I'm a little hungry. I would like something." He says, "Well, let me take you to the drawing room, and I'll bring your food." So he comes in. It's a drawing room with the big high-back chairs. Well, Richardson fancied himself a bit of an athlete, So he sees this high back chair, and he decides he's going to run, vault it, and land in the chair, which he does, landing on her dog and killing her. He immediately called the cab company and left. She never went back. Yeah. Can you imagine going to someone's home a second time after putting ink all over their walls and killing their dog within 5 minutes of getting there? And he leaves. I'm out of here. I don't know how to do it. I'm gone. Well, we already got a few minutes. Con horror story. Convention horror story. Then you can tell in a room with mixed company of people potentially underage.
Trying to think. Well, it's not much of a horror story because I had fun. Yeah, it was actually, surprisingly enough, it was just last weekend. I was at Convergence, and some of I don't know, some of you who saw my picture noticed that I usually have more facial hair. But every year at Convergence, I dress up as Willy Wonka.
Oh, wow.
So,
nice.
And we do a room party, and it has become a tradition for the steampunk people who also put on a party or put on games, that they do this scavenger hunt. And they send them to other party rooms, and the idea is you have to get like a stamp or a sticker or something from the party room, and the party room can ask you to do a quest to get said stamp.
Oh, okay.
This year it was a stamp, and I do what I do every single time, and I've become sort of a legend of this, because what it is I just make the person tell me what it is they want. Okay. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Describe a stamp for me.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah, they'll say, well, we need a stamp, so I'd have my Oompa Loompa come over and step on their foot. So that didn't work, so they said, no, it's a thing with a rubber thing on the end of it. Pencil. And this went on for 10 minutes per person, if they were lucky.
Wow, nice.
I had a guy dressed as the Joker crying. I was so happy.
I think I know what Josh's horror story is going to be.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was. Oh,
I feel so bad for these people.
Oh, the first year I did it, I guess the guy who came in for the first, got the whole collection of these circle like hog things. Came in and set all of them down except for one, and then went, wham! I had to fight with Wonka for a half hour for this one.
That's cool.
Oh God, it was so funny. These guys are so pissed at me. I expect to have a better con horror story next year when they get a hold of me. Okay.
Which story did you think?
No, you go ahead and tell your con horror story.
I'm trying to figure out which one you...
Yeah, just go ahead and tell me.
I don't know. I can't think of it.
You don't have any con horror stories?
All right, other than the one that we had in Austin? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
All right. I will try to make this entertaining.
Well,
It was 2 years ago now. 2 years ago.
2 years ago...
In fact, it's happening this weekend in Austin.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The fact that it's even going on is...
Actually, things have gotten better there because they've got a head of guest relations. They now actually have a guest relations team, and it's still being held in the same place.
Yeah. Okay, so Chris and I 2 years ago were invited to a convention that was going to take place on the 4th of July in Austin.
4th of July weekend.
4th of July weekend in Austin, Texas, which right then and there is a bad idea because Austin gets pretty crazy and it's super hot in Texas during this time. This was one of the hottest years we had.
It's about 115.
Yeah, 115 degrees that weekend. Well, so we leave. We decide, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to carpool. So we hop in my car. It's about a 3.5 hour drive to Houston.
friend.
Yeah, best friends like my
Had
brother.
music.
So,
Had music.
so we're just driving up and grabbed a bag of Starburst gummies
Yep.
and
Yep.
just made a road trip.
Yep.
So we're about 30 minutes out from Austin. And we call, and Chris calls the country and says, hey, we're 30 minutes out. They say, okay, cool, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna, as you're coming in on this highway, you're gonna make a left, do a turn around to this exit, and the hotel will be on your right.
We knew that it was called the Austin Suites.
Yes, it's called the Austin Suites. So, we We get there. The Austin Suites is a 25 a night extended stay hotel facility in the worst part of Austin. To which, when we pull in, the first thing we see is a drug deal going on outside one of the rooms. To which we're immediately like, this is not boding well. We go in. Oh no. We pull in. The first thing we notice is a group of gangbangers eyeing my car like it's fresh meat. Go inside to ask for a hotel room. We haven't been checked in yet, and we called the con people saying, "We're here. We're not sure if we're at the right place. We're not really feeling safe here." They said, "Okay, we'll be right over. We're just half a mile down. We'll be there in 5 minutes." 45 minutes later,
in 112 degrees.
in 112, 115 degree weather, that we are staying outside because there is no air conditioning inside.
And this is not just for this weather.
Yes.
I wear this everywhere because I have to have pockets. So I'm standing in 115 degree weather in Austin, just like this.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's
No,
humid.
it's a humid. It's humid.
It's like living in a dog's mouth.
Tongue and all.
In that 45 minutes, we saw another drug deal go down, a parade of hookers, and one of them was a tranny. Trust me,
You can tell.
it wasn't a good tranny. And then
The guy. Who was
the
selling-
guy who was selling what can only be described as previously owned car stereo equipment out of the back of his car, with the wires still attached. And then we made a friend.
Yeah, we did.
This old lady who was chewing on her finger because she was coked out.
She's methed up.
She was methed up. Sucking and chewing on her finger like she was diabetic and her hand had insulin in it.
Yeah, it was.
She
She was about as tall as she was round. She was like a globe.
And she comes up to my car, because we're in my car at this point, and she knocks us like, "Hey man, can I just run for a cab? And I just need to feed my can you come in my room? I'll show you. I just need to feed my kids."
She wants to go to her room and meet her family.
Wants us to go to her room and meet her family. Yeah.
No.
To which, okay, I will tell you this. Chris is my best friend in the entire world. I've known this man for upwards of 6 to 7 years now.
Yeah.
He has one of the longest fuses of anybody I've ever met. It takes a lot to get this man angry.
Even irritated.
Yeah, even irritated.
Even slightly miffed.
Takes a pretty large feat. By the end of those 45 minutes, he is shaking so hard.
I was almost apoplectic. It was
that he is quad barreling
I had
cigarettes.
4 cigarettes. I had 4 cigarettes in each hand.
And is losing his
I
mind.
was mad. I was angry.
To which
Yeah.
the con chair finally calls us saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that you guys were waiting." Wrong thing to say. Hand the phone to Chris. I'll let you take over.
I just started swearing. I started cussing and didn't stop. And so then I hung up on it and we called a friend of ours from the area and I said, "Where is the Crockett Center?" And he's a guy that's worked guest relations for other conventions. In fact, Ken, who comes up to Detour.
Yeah, good guy.
Ken wasn't on staff at this con. He goes, hold on a minute. Okay, here's the address of the Crockett Center. I'm just screaming it at Josh. Josh is plugging it into the TomTom, trying not to do anything that'll make me explode because Josh had never really seen me angry.
Yeah.
So I say, "Thank you, Ken." Hang on. I call the con chair. Again, about a minute of profanity, followed by, "We are on our way. You better be there when I get there." Hang on.
Just
I will let
so you know, this is a con chair that we have had numerous problems with in the past. So,
He ends up getting really good staffs, but
he just gets in their way. I'll say that. So, in fact, I love Greg's description of it.
Yeah. My brother describes this guy as, pit bulls, they look angry and they don't know why. That's kind of, this guy looks angry and like he doesn't know why.
Yeah.
He's actually a very sweet person.
He is a sweet person. He just
looks angry.
And not the smartest person in the bunch. So, in the half a mile it took us after actually finally getting the address to get to the Crockett Center, in progressively worse and worse.
Yeah, the neighborhood's getting worse and worse.
As we're going down, we turn into the Crockett Center, to which both of us almost
Actually, no, I was looking down. Josh goes, "You gotta be kidding."
The Crockett Center is not a convention center. It is an all aluminum with no air conditioning, tin roof, indoor flea market.
Oh, it gets better.
With a pawn shop attached to it, and if I remember correctly,
Giant sign.
a giant sign that says "Gun Show this Saturday and Sunday." We were going to have a gun show with a bunch of rednecks in the same building at the same time as an anime convention in the worst part of Boston, where these kids are not going to be safe.
Can you say live action Full Metal Panic? Yeah.
Yeah, we had kind of had our last straw.
Yeah, so we get there. We get there, and I have to go to the bathroom. The concierge comes out to meet us. Set up a because you're about the same height. I literally get out of the car, halfway across the parking lot, screaming profanity at the top of my lungs. Hey buddy, what's up? I keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going, and I'm here, just screaming in this guy's face. And then all of a sudden I go, "I have to pee!" So Josh and I end up getting to the actual convention and canceling.
We
got there and canceled. We ended up going home that night. So
drove back, yeah, and the only picture for the entire weekend we got was of a
broken urinal at a truck stop.
Yeah. because we just thought that it kind of summed up the day.
It did. Yeah.
And that's my Con horror story. Not necessarily the most fun to listen to. But
it is fun. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will tell my risque con horror story. I'll tell my risque con horror story. Yes, I can.
It's
Darren. It's Darren.
Oh,
Excuse me. In fact, before I do anything, I gotta get a hug from the boy.
Darren!
I love this kid. There we go. Okay, so there's a rumor about me at East Coast cons. There is a definite rumor about me at East Coast conventions. There is a rumor that a female staff member left my room at 2 or 3 in the morning, about 3 in the morning, with her behind sore and bleeding. That's true. That's not what you think. Look, the people over there are like, I got into this convention. I'd never been there before, but I knew a few people from staff, so we were hanging out. A couple of new people that I hadn't met were hanging out. And we were all kind of just sitting around doing this, just telling weird stories that had happened. Well, one of the girls that I did not know from Al, who was on guest relations staff, she started telling this story, and it was just gross, and she stood up and was grossing out, and she backed up and backed into the armoire that was holding the television.
Oh!
And she felt it, my butt, my butt. I don't know her from Adam, and here's this girl bumps into a piece of furniture and is screaming. And I'm like, okay, drama queen. And I will say that later, I went to pick up my bag that was on the floor right beside and completely cut all the way down my arm. It was the sharpest corner I've ever seen on a piece of furniture. So we're still talking, laughing, and she keeps reaching back and rubbing her butt. And she finally said, guys, I know it's really gross. And she was in like a long skirt. She goes, guys, I know it's really gross, but my butt hurts. And she brought her hand up, and it was covered in blood. She had cut a 1-inch gash in her butt cheek by backing into this armoire. Well, immediately the other, because it was me, one other guy, and she and 2 girls. So we were just all hanging out. The girls grabbed her and ran her into the bathroom. And I came in, oh my God, should we go to the hospital? I don't know what's going on. So, and they all leave. And the door shuts. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to bed. So the next day I get up and I go into the green room to grab some breakfast, and the concierge, whose name is Moose, for a reason. He is a giant of a man. I'm having my banana and my toast, and don't judge me. And all of a sudden, this giant man comes up behind me and goes, "So what's this I hear about one of my female staffers leaving your room last night with her butt sore and bleeding?" What do you say? It happened, but not the way it sounds. So I'm like, okay, well, yeah, but, and I'm trying desperately to explain this, and all of a sudden from around the corner I hear giggles. It's her and the two girls that were in the room. They put him up to it. So yeah, but for a while there's all kinds of weird rumors about me having brothers and sisters and stuff like that. There's a rumor in Texas about me being married and divorced. There was a rumor going around Wausaubicon a couple of years ago that I wanted to beat the crap out of Crispin Freeman. There's a girl who's there's a girl who's almost as OCD as I am, or actually more so, and we call her my twin. Her name is in my phone. If I punch in Jen, the first name that comes up will be Jen, my twin. Okay. Because we are both kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Monk at times. And so I refer to, that's my twin, Jennifer. That's my twin, Jen. So, and she's not. We are not related. We just know each other through conventions. She's just a good friend of mine from conventions. So she was at the dance, and Sogan and Taliesin and Crispin, because they're all friends, were dancing all over. They were dirty dancing together and stuff. And the rumor had it the next day that I was out ready to kick Crispin's butt. Crispin is like a lot bigger than me, and in really good shape. He goes to the gym. I think that's why God made cars, so that I don't have to run. And the reason was that he was all over my sister at the dance. Was the reason I wanted to. Yeah. So yeah, apparently I've got ex-wives at some conventions and family members that are not really family. It's just weird.
I was just told this. My best friend does the Oompa Loompa Convergence, and he's a very nice guy. But the thing is, sometimes it gets him in trouble because what it is that he will sometimes almost be a mother hen at times, because he will make sure that you're fed. Cool, But at one point, he was sitting on a couch and he had a guy next to him who happened to be African American, and then another guy on the other side, and the big black guy says, "I'm hungry," and without thinking, Ryan reaches over, grabs a piece of food, and puts it in his mouth. He's like, "Okay." Then the guy on the other side says, kind of laughing, goes, "Well, I'm hungry too." And so he grabs something and puts it in. Now it's become a joke. Fine. The next day, this nice old lady comes up to him and says, "It's so nice that you're comfortable with your relationship. I mean, I know how hard it is to have an interracial gay relationship." And it's like, he's just going, huh?
That's funny.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, and Convergence has this type of relationship all over, so somebody mistaking it is understandable, but it was just funny because my friend's like, "What?"
I'll tell you something cool like that. My cousin passed away. I went to her graduation, and she really wanted me to meet her sociology professor.
Okay.
And wow, what an opportunity to get to study with somebody. He was a PhD in sociology. He was African American. In a relationship with a white guy, and he was living with AIDS. He was in a racial relationship, whole 9 years, and was just the biggest inspiration to all these students in Maryland. And it was really, really neat. When he said that, I was like, "No, it's all good."
Yeah. It's just when you're not, it's a little surprising to get,
Oh yeah,
So,
I always get that.
how much time do we got?
Like 15.
Oh, this is a nice
Stretch.
Yeah, about that.
Well, I can talk about, I was going to say, seeing Wolfie down there.
Wolfie!
Yeah.
Wolfie.
Wolfie. Yeah. We are in a play that I'm playing him. And we were in rehearsal on Thursday night before we came down. You want it? Yeah, sure.
Wolfie!
Wolfie. And, well, yeah,
It's very massive.
if anybody's if anybody's heard of Transylvania Television, they're a grown-up version of the Muppets.
Okay.
And the guys who do that made this for me. So
Very nice.
But anyway, so of course we're rehearsing, and I'm rehearsing with him. So I've got him, and he's going around and he's being problematic in the play because that's what he does, and everybody keeps grabbing him by the throat to shut him up. And one of the girls grabs him, and of course, reacting, it's like, she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I look at her and says, do you realize you just apologized to a puppet?
That's awesome.
Wolfie. Oh, yeah, we got it going, yeah. All right. Oh, yeah.
Bad touch.
That's all bad touching. Yeah.
I need an adult.
I'm liking all this.
Sorry, I snort.
I heard.
I'm trying to think another good
Con horror. Oh, there was the time after the night that we premiered Wallflower. We were at Onicon. That was my very first convention as a guest. We had premiered the first episode of first 2 episodes of the Wallflower. We had Nap Machine there. That was really cool. And after we finished the premiere, I walk out to the artist alley and I'm talking to my friend Lane, and as I'm sitting there talking to her, all of a sudden I feel these hands come around me and walk, and like a hug. And what the hell? And I turn around and just all I just see is this big mop of brown reddish hair, and I thought it was a friend of mine that was on staff. And I was like, hey, sweetie, what are you doing? And instead of my friend's voice, I hear this very high-pitched little young voice say, in this kind of creepy way. I was like, oh God! Oh God! To which I was like, hey, what are you doing? Nice to meet you. And it was okay, but I was able to work through it. And then at the very end of the conversation, this little girl, like 15, 16, tells me, the DVD comes out, I'm gonna stalk you, and then happily bounces off.
Never a good sign.
It's like, thanks for the warning.
At least yours was nice. I was at OhioCon.
Yeah, she was really good.
And I love OhioCon. I'm semi-staff for OhioCon. I run the roast. This past year we roasted Chris Sabat. That was fun.
Yeah.
And I love OhioCon. I've been going for years. But I had an incident a couple of years ago. Unlike yours, which was nice and somewhat creepy. I'm in an autograph session, and I'm signing something, and this guy goes, hey dude, I really want to apologize. And I'm signing stuff. I'm like, yeah, for what? And he goes, this is for what you did in Gantz. Bam! Slapped me as hard as he could. Now again, long fuse.
Yes.
Not in this instance. I generally try to watch my mouth when I know there are children around. Not in this instance. No. I came over the table cussing like a sailor. I was ready to hurt him. And unfortunately, my brother at that con, because he was on the autograph session with me, they had us at separate tables. He had a stalker situation going on at that con, so all of security was around my brother. All of a sudden, they all hear me screaming and roaring and cussing, which is not like me when I'm on the floor usually. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a good
what
guy.
happened that he wanted to slap you?
He didn't like my performance in the show.
Oh,
And just assumed that I was the character. And yeah, there's been some there was one of the voice actresses in the original Evangelion that kept getting notes from this guy who's in his 30s or 40s that he was building a mech, but he was building it so that she could pilot it for him. I'm like, I enjoy anime personally, but
Grant or was it?
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say. But yeah. But it's
If it was a Hello Kitty mech, Tiffany would do it.
yeah. All about that. But yeah,
She'd steal the thing.
yeah. No, it's really weird that
I have a fun con story.
Sweet, tell
About
it.
some people. Also, first year at Onicon. We're on the very last panel of the weekend. It's the big ass voice actor panel.
Baba.
Yeah,
BAVA.
the AVA. We had like 16 guests, 16 voice actors,
Insane.
all lined up, and we're all just cutting up, having fun. 2-hour long panel. Yay, a bag.
What?
There's a coloring book.
Aha! Cool.
We have the weirdest dietary.
yeah.
Anyway. Baba.
And we're in the last 5 minutes of the Q&A, and we're doing a speed round thing where it's just ask a question where all of us can give a one-word answer. We're going to go down the line.
1 and 2 word answer, yeah.
And one of the questions comes up is favorite food. And so we're going in the line. I'm near the end, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell am I going to say? Because I am a big fan of food. And I have a box of Pocky in my hand. I was just like, yeah, whatever, Pocky, and it gets to me. Well,
Yeah, that's not going to be popular.
Yeah,
That's
so-
going to be a popular answer.
so there's a group of kids that were in the audience at the time. Next year rolls around, I'm at Onicon, and at this point, Wallflower had been out for a bit. I'd done a couple other big shows, and they came up and they said, we were at the BAVA panel last year, and we thought that you might enjoy this, and they hand me this bag filled with like this assortment of Pocky. I was just like, holy crap! That's awesome! And they had me sign stuff. Well, it became kind of they became really good friends of mine. It became kind of for the several first cons that I did, like for the next couple of years that were all in Texas, they would follow me to the convention, bring new stuff for me to sign and come out with in that year, and bring me a bag of Pocky.
Okay.
Well,
A bag.
yeah, a bag of Pocky. And one year they actually found one of those gigantic, like big ass boxes that were like that big, that wide. They were just like, here. And I was like, so my very first out-of-state convention, which was Wausaubicon in Kentucky, comes around, the very first out-of-state, and they couldn't make it. They had friends in Kentucky who brought me Pocky. Big ass bag of Pocky. It was just awesome. And they're like, this is from our friend. It was a big old surprise, too.
You realize that if you tell that story here,
Uh-huh.
the next time any people from this con see you at another convention, they're going to end up bringing you pot.
Pocky! Pocky!
We're in Wisconsin.
I'm like the, it's Pocky! The dog.
Oh, cheese flavored Pocky. Oh. Hey, we'll make it.
No, that would be awesome. What are you talking about? Well, replace the chocolate with cheese on the same stick. Are you kidding me? That's
You don't like
No.
Oh,
like
cheese.
cheese.
You don't like
Not a
cheese?
big
You
cheese
don't like
person.
cheese?
I'm not a big cheese person. I'm very picky.
Okay. Anybody
I like
who had
short
thoughts
cheddar
of bringing
cheese.
gifts of cheese since we're in this state, they don't want them. I'll take them. I like cheese.
How do you cross state borders?
Yeah, they let you into Wisconsin without liking cheese. It should be like, all your papers are good, but do you like cheese? No. Get the hell out of here. You're not welcome in this state.
I forgot about this con. Well, for some reason I forgot about it, or I was thinking maybe I shouldn't tell it. But anyway, you guys were talking about the fact that you guys have these weird stalkers.
Oh, yeah, it happens.
Sometime.
Well, yeah, I have the opposite problem. I got accused of being one at a con. Oh no! What it is Mercedes Lackey was at this convention, and this had been the first convention that she was at after she had a stalker problem. Okay. So they were watching for her. My girlfriend at the time wanted to go see her. Fine. I had no idea who this person was. Okay. I'll sit outside the play. I'll sit outside and watch people in costume. I'll wait for it to be over, and then we'll go do something else. This didn't go over well. All of a sudden, I've got people around me going, "What are you doing?" Waiting for my girlfriend who's inside. Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, and they're kept having more and more people showing up until the guy who was head of facilities shows up, and he gets in my face. He's a bigger guy, and he's just getting in my face about this. And finally, somebody comes out, goes in, and gets my girlfriend, brings her out, and they prove that no, I was waiting for my girlfriend. It didn't quite still work. They still thought I was doing this. It's like, okay.
Wow.
So I left. It was good. The man who was in my face is now my roommate.
No, that is sometimes weird because I never assume that anybody knows who I am. Josh and I both, I don't think that I'm a big deal. I'm so excited to be out and meet other anime fans and other people who are into the same things I am. I just didn't have to act like I'm a big deal. I don't think I'm a big deal. I'm just a dude with a big cup that hangs out at Denny's a lot. I'm just a, I'm a big.
Are you kidding? Okay, I gotta be fanboyish here. Are you kidding? You did a voice for Xenosaga. I'm sorry.
I directed Xenosaga.
Oh, you directed it?
The anime, yeah. I directed it.
Oh, I love you.
Oh, he was Hammer.
You were Hammer?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't look at the voice.
It's all good. It's all good. Not for the video game, it's for the anime.
Yeah, for the anime.
But I love what I do. I've always been an actor. I love what I do. So I don't think it's any big deal. So when people come up, I'd rather somebody just meet me as a person or get to know me as a person. It is always weird for me when people come up and I forget where I was going with this. I'm now babbling because I forgot where I'm going at this point.
Doctor, getting noticed.
Doctor, no.
Just a guy
Making her a big deal. Just a guy with a big cup.
Well, there are way too many voice actors that think they're a big deal. But and no one is. I've always thought, you are no better or worse than the way you treat people around you. I wish more people would. Oh, that's where I was going with this. Sorry. So many people at conventions, say, oh, well, I want to get to know the guests. I can tell you the easiest way to get to know a guest at a convention. Okay? Find out, because like when I go to an anime convention, most people, that's all they want to talk to me about. And I'm fine, I'm more than happy to talk about anime with people. I do not mind it at all. But I have got so many other things that I geek out about, that if you can find out what those things are, and that's something that you honestly geek out about, or something that you can sit and talk about, oh my Lord, you will end up having more of my time than you want.
We all get rid of us.
Oh, actually, I remember the other point that I was going to make. Again, I don't make a big deal over the fact that I'm a voice actor, that I'm just a dude that's here at the convention. It is so funny because I'm an older guy. I am 46 years old. I don't look at acting or dating. So, just so everybody knows. But it's so funny because somebody will be in a costume, and I'm like, hey, nice costume. And it never fails. Guy or girl are like, look at me like, why is that old dude hitting on me? Well, I'm not. I just like a good costume. And I like to tell people that I like their work. But it's so funny that, So I don't care whether somebody knows what I've done or not. But no, that's the easiest way to get to know somebody. Some of the closest friends that I've made from conventions are people that
Geek out about other things.
geek out about other things that I do, and then all of a sudden, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
It's like Michael Tatum, who does voice Sebastian in Black Buffalo. He's a good friend of mine, but when he and Josh and he's a good friend of Josh's, when we go to dinner together, Josh and Michael's partner Joshua are just bored to tears because when Michael Tatum and I get together, it's always going to digress into a discussion about Shakespeare.
Me and Josh just drink.
And he and Josh is like, well, there they go again. And he and I will debate and argue and get angry and and they're like, really? Does it really matter, Chris? Michael? Really? And then one of them will go like, Dr. Who, and we're all like, okay. I'm gonna get in so much trouble in this dealer's room.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen the Wayne's World table?
There is a $200 Dark Magician Girl figurine in there, and I was like, I want it, but I don't have $200.
I'm talking about Wayne's World with the entire wall of Dr. Who.
I know, and I want that too. I got the figurines.
Oh, they've got a lot of them. They've got the juice.
Yeah.
That's whether you're human or not.
This is going to get me in trouble, but I'm so glad I never got this out there.
We're gonna show you stuff. And you are not leaving until
Oh,
you've seen it.
They're watching it right now.
Oh! What season?
2005.
Okay. Okay.
Tennant stuff.
Tennant
Eccleston.
stuff. Tennant or Eccleston, yeah. Sorry, I'm a big
Same here. We gotta show him Lincoln.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you blink at some point. Good.
You're watching it!
Deal with it. And so we've got about 5 minutes. Any final thoughts? Final thoughts?
Doctor Who is awesome.
That's
So, I have
Top the paw. Okay, we've got a couple of questions.
Earlier on, you mentioned that there was like some like horror story that couldn't be topped or something, and you were waiting until the end. To
Oh,
say
that was the Ralph Richardson.
Oh, okay.
Killing the girl's dog.
Oh,
You said that you're massive Who fans. A friend of mine, I don't know if he's coming today, he might try to make it tomorrow. He is dressed up full ensemble as one of the doctors.
Sweet. Which one?
Everything.
Which
So
one?
I'll, if I see you guys and if I see him, I'll try and point it
Which
out.
doctor?
Which
do you know?
doctor?
I know a little bit, I'm not sure which doctor it is though.
What's
I
the
think he
outfit
has
look like?
glasses, but
Glasses, probably Tennant.
Yeah, it might be Tennant or it might be
shorter hair, red
Celery.
Converse. Red Converse.
What?
Celery?
Yeah, Davidson.
Yeah.
I only know that
Sometimes
he's
had
one of the
glasses.
doctors, so, but
Okay.
if I see him tomorrow and if I see you guys, I'll
Okay, please do. Well, if I'll see him, I'll be like, hey, you, I need a picture with you. Also,
If anybody here is a fan of the new My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, please come up and talk to me. This has been a friendly reminder.
huh?
We found it on demand.
Bronies. Bro hoof.
It's magic. I ain't got to
Any last
explain
question? Time
nothing.
for one more question.
We can't leave it on that note. Yeah, change it next topic.
Somebody asked a question.
Screw you. Okay.
I was gonna say, did you tell them about getting this?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Well, let's talk. Well, we were mentioning stuff that we geek out about. Let's talk about.
Yeah, but that's something you got about. What is stuff you got about?
What do I geek out about?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do we have enough time?
Yeah, pretty much. Transformers, big time.
Nice.
Yeah.
You see the new one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Midnight 3D. It was on her birthday. We were actually finalists and the top 20 ultimate Transformer fans of the entire country.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
That's
We,
great.
we just didn't have the money to have the amount of toys the guy who won.
Yeah.
So.
What else? Transformers? What else?
Transformers, CSI, World of Warcraft, not as much as a lot of people, but I do like it.
We can talk. World of War.
Yeah. Babylon 5. Oh, Babylon 5.
Better than Deep Space Nine.
No.
Yeah.
Get the hell out! We don't
And
need
ES9 had its good moments.
No, it didn't.
I liked Star Trek Deep Space Nine. However, it was, well, Babylon 5 light.
No, for me, Doctor Who, anything horror, some science fiction, stage combat, improvisational comedy, theater, musical theater specifically, Shakespeare. Did I say horror?
Yes.
Doctor Who?
Yes.
And I mentioned Doctor Who and horror.
And more Doctor Who.
And Shakespeare.
And Shakespeare, yes. Can't forget that. Musical theater, and improv comedy, and stage combat. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. My Little Pony.
My Little Pony, hardcore gamer. A lot of MMOs, Warcraft, Eve. Huge fan of old, talking about late 80s and 90s animation, Animaniacs, DuckTales,
Yeah.
Mighty Max, any of those things. Doctor Who, and
I left one out.
all sorts of sci-fi, anything sci-fi really, and My Little Pony.
I left one out.
What'd you leave out?
I am a Neopets dork.
Yes! See, I'm talking for ponies.
I am a Neopets dork. I've got 4 Neopets. Right now, because I'm not at home to feed them and play with them, they're in the hotel. When I go to a convention, I put my Neopets in a hotel so that they're fed and played with and happy and bloated while I'm not there to do it.
I have Kukra Ferry.
Oh my god, wow, very cool. Okay, and now I have got to make another alphabet that is not the letter P. So I've got to go.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
Enjoy the con.